You are passionate about letting people come to the island. You are passionate about recruiting people to come, business migrants to come to the island.
Correct.
Can you just let us know what the landing and finding is all about?
So the thing with immigration and with people who sell relocation packages or immigration, they never tell you exactly what you will find. They will sell you the good thing, the beauty of, it's lovely island, it's this and that, and your expectations are actually much different from the reality you find on ground. So that's why I call it landing and finding. It's when you arrive here, when you land here, you begin to find out exactly what you're in for. It's always better if you're speaking with people who have been through that experience and are going to be upfront with you and tell you what your expectations should be.
That's true.
So that you don't get disappointed.
Yeah.
If you have great expectations, then you have great disappointments. Running business in the Isle of Man or in the UK is certainly different from Nigeria. There's a lot of compliance things you have to deal with. Isle of Man also, you have to face the business banking challenges. But in all, I would say for sure, Isle of Man is the ideal place for anyone who is really serious about global business, and it's for obvious reasons. Zero corporate tax, zero capital gains tax, zero wealth tax, zero inheritance tax, zero stamp duty.
Good day, everyone. My name is Victor Walsh. Welcome to Unpacking the Isle of Man, where we talk to real people and they share with us their real stories about our beautiful island. Today, I have Timi Adeboye in the house. Timi Adeboye is the CEO of Synesis Limited here in the Isle of Man. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
How's everything with you?
Very well, thank you.
It's a privilege to have you on Unpacking Isle of Man.
My great pleasure.
Of course, this idea was shared with you. It's a collective idea between me and you and some other people to let people know why we're here on the island.
Correct.
And to also give people reason why they should be on the island.
Good.
Who is Timi?
Well, Timi is simple person, entrepreneur. Like if you go by profile, you see on LinkedIn, I'm saying serial entrepreneur and great guy. That's what I am. So I've been used to either starting new businesses myself or helping people start up their new businesses. And it's just been a way of life. So, I studied economics from Obafemi University back in Nigeria. And it's been one business after the other. And at least I've done business since 1998. I've had my own company. And I've done a couple of things from mobile payments to digital payments. I think we're one of the earlier people to start with internet telephone in Nigeria. So it's always been one digital business or the other for me.
Okay, so why did you move to the Isle of Man?
Isle of Man is, simple reason. I looked at the country back then. I saw from 2015 what I will call destruction of wealth.
Destruction of
wealth, yes.
Yeah.
Nearly all I had worked for. In 2016, after the election, I was expecting the government to remove subsidy on petrol. So I invested heavily in mobile LPG refilling stations. I put in lots of money in it. And I remember when I was doing that, making an investment, my friend in the US said, Timi, you could put this money in Section 8 housing in the United States. But I said, no, let's believe in Nigeria and put the money there. Unfortunately, I think I came in too early because I could remember I had cash, money to pay for the letters of credit. But at that time, there was not even any dollar available for the banks to, pay your letters of credit. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I had to buy Forex at exorbitant amounts, bring it in, then another
problem
run around again with getting DPR to give me an approval to set up something. So one thing after the other, then of course, dollar then when, I remember when Buhari came in, dollar was about 190, 210. Then it went all the way. So By 2020 COVID, that was the crux for me. Like, you see that you're not getting support for your business. So I realized also that I was facing a couple of risks. First is the country risk, Nigeria itself being a risky place to do business. I also realized that I was facing what you call the currency risk. Doing business, having your income only in Naira is a huge risk. Then the third risk is a concentration risk. When you're putting all your eggs in one basket.
The one basket, yeah.
Yes. So those three risks for me were, really pointers that I was doing the wrong thing. And I just felt like, well, the best thing to do is to reinvent myself, put the business back on another footing, and having an international destination. So looking at options available, I looked at Canada, I looked at United States, I looked at United Kingdom. But in all of, the options available, then came the Isle of Man. I remember when I started my company in Hong Kong in 2010, by 2012, I'd been invited to the Isle of Man, and I felt like I was not doing business in pound sterling, so why the Isle of Man? So when this Isle of Man thing came up again, and I gave it a more cursory look and decided to explore. Of course, for the innovator visa route, it was a better option for me than the United Kingdom. So we're here for obvious reasons.
So how was it like in your first week on the island?
First week on the island was not very pleasant, actually, because I came in about the time where Titi was.
And I also remember you told me the challenges you had when you're looking for accommodation and all that.
Yes.
That cost you so much money,
absolutely,
effort, and all that.
In fact, I had to move from Isle of Man. I'll fly back to the UK because there was hardly accommodation available. So if I have accommodation for 5 nights, I'll pay for the 5 nights, come, try to do some inspections. Then I fly back to the UK because there's no more accommodation for that period. So if I have another window, I just keep coming and going like that. And I did 14 inspections, actually.
Wow.
And I never got one.
14 inspections.
I kid you not. 14. So
14 inspections.
14 viewings.
14 viewings. Yeah, 14 viewings. Yeah, it's still inspection. So you went around looking for 14 different apartments.
Yes.
And you also said that at the time you had to pay for almost like you are paying for hotel, that exorbitant amount, just for you to make sure that you meet up with the accommodation and all that.
Right. So
what advice will you have for someone who is coming in tomorrow and say, okay, look, I want to move in, and what are things you will expect them to put in place before coming over to the island?
Well, so I would say be mindful of the time you're coming to the Isle of Man.
Be mindful of the time.
Yes. If you're coming to the Isle of Man in the peak season, which is from late May, right, or middle of May till maybe July, that's a no time for you to come to the Isle of Man if you're looking for accommodation. But ideally, for a family person also, I will advise, let the breadwinner or the principal come in first and do all the spade work. When everything is set, you can now bring in your family. But if you're coming in all at once, that's another, headache you're going to be dealing with. So, but ideally, I will recommend that someone comes here from, say, September all the way through to March. Yes.
Okay. So you came in under the innovator visa route,
right?
And successfully you've been on the island and you've been running your business. What has been your success story and challenges so far?
Success story, I would say, is learning how to conduct my business in the British manner. Running business in the Isle of Man or in the UK is certainly different from Nigeria. There's a lot of compliance things you have to deal with. Isle of Man also, you have to face the business banking challenges. But in all, I would say it's been very, very challenging because I've been CEO for how many years? More than 2 decades. And having to now subject myself to an incubator program where somebody is going to be, following after you, chasing after you, asking you to give you your personal bank statements, your business bank statements. They want to see everything you're doing, makes you feel like, are you competent at all?
Yes.
Or in all, I think it's a learning process that I think I appreciate now better.
Okay, so you have a very strong background in international business, and over the years you've been to China,
Right.
Europe,
Right.
the Americas, and you're also into import and export.
Right.
Would you say Isle of Man has favored you in that aspect?
Well, I would say yes, because in terms of the time zone that we're in, we're 7 hours from China in summer, 8 hours from China in winter. You're also 6-7 hours from the United States between summer and winter. So you are actually in the best time zones. Actually, you can run your business from. And also, I have a very unstructured sleeping pattern. So sometimes I have to be up by 2 a.m. So I'm speaking with China at 9 a.m. their time, and sometimes I'm having to stay awake again to engage with the United States before they knock off work. So, but that's why I'm saying this time zone is, I think, the best you can have, So also the fact that you can do you're in the same time zone with Nigeria.
Yeah.
So you're also able to coordinate your activities in Nigeria while doing your global business as well.
Okay, so you and I talk about landing and finding.
Yes.
And I've known you for quite some time now, and I'm also saying in the podcast that you have also been my very great supporter.
Yeah, thank you.
And supporter in the sense that I still remember last night you were trying to remind me of something. I said, okay, make sure Sudotin are done this way. So you talked about having a platform or an incubator where you are passionate about letting people come to the island. You are passionate about recruiting people to come, business migrants to come to the island.
Correct.
And you and I talk about landing and finding. Before you talk more about the business, can you just let us know what the landing and finding is all about?
Right. So the thing with immigration and with people who sell relocation packages or immigration, they never tell you exactly what you will find. They will sell you the good thing, the beauty of, it's lovely island, it's this and that, and your expectations are actually much different from the reality you find on ground. So that's why I call it landing and finding. It's when you arrive here, when you land here, you begin to find out exactly what you're in for. So it's always better if you're speaking with people who have been through that experience and are going to be upfront with you and tell you what your expectations should be.
That's true.
So that you don't get, disappointed.
Yeah,
like they say, if you have great expectations, then you have great disappointments. So that's it basically.
Tell me how you intend to bring people to the island. Tell me how you intend to mentor those new people that prefer the island as their location. Tell me how you intend to be the island ambassador plenipotentiary. Let me say
brand ambassador. Well, or let's call it innovator ambassador.
Ambassador.
So, the thing is, like I've said to you, I find pleasure or enjoy helping people to grow their business or startups to grow their business. For sure, Isle of Man is the ideal place for anyone who's really serious about global business, and it's for obvious reasons. Zero capital tax, zero corporate tax, zero capital gains tax, zero wealth tax, zero inheritance tax, zero stamp duty. So it's actually a place where you should have, your corporate headquarters, and you're having your businesses in other locations as well, geographies as well. How we intend to do that is we're going to have, for example, we're having partnering with different citizenship and residency by investment companies around the world, in Europe, in China, around. And the target is for basically high net worth individuals. But of course, I still personally still have passion for startup businesses. So for startup businesses who are interested in, coming to where they have, I would say a convenient place to start from. For example, once you're here and you're able to get your business on the right start, you're able to access a lot of opportunities here than you probably not get in Africa. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand is having like business incubation as a service. If you come to the Isle of Man, we are willing to help you, to show you the way.
To direct you so that you don't make mistakes.
Correct.
Reduce your stress.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Reduce your stress and all that. And since you have been here, what has been the most remarkable thing that that you say has happened to your life?
Well, it's first of all, it's the peace and quiet.
Especially you once live in Nigeria.
Good.
And especially you are in Lagos, the most populated state capital in Africa, or by extension one of the most populated state capital in Africa.
Right.
And you now move to a quiet city.
Right.
And of course, here it's quiet.
So it's a sharp contrast.
Very, very sharp.
From the chaotic Lagos scene, to a very peace and quiet island like the Isle of Man. It's even much different from the UK itself. It's surreal here. It's almost like this can be on Earth. You go to the bathrooms, public bathrooms, all clean. The buses are clean. The streets are clean. You don't have cars hooting. You don't have traffic snarls. Yes, there's hardly any traffic congestion. I don't find them.
And it's tough for you very well when we are crossing the road.
Exactly. Then the safety that you have for your kids. The other day, my daughter was supposed to walk with her friend, and my wife was like, "Is it late?" I'm like, "It's Isle of Man. It's safe." I enjoy that, but above all, I would say the island itself is looking for people who are enterprising. What I find most interesting here is the people. If you go to government offices, you're speaking with real people. You're not talking to people on the phone. They don't consider you a number or a statistic. I've had issues, struggles actually with compliance when I first came. And there was a day I went to the tax office and I broke down in tears. And the lady just said, "I'll help you." And she did that. And I asked her, "How can I thank you enough?" She just says, "I'm happy to help. I hope you sleep well."
Yeah.
This is very unusual. So I think that's, for me, that's one of the single most important things that I found, that you find help, you find compassion, you find empathy in the people here.
Okay, so it was you've done a lot of business in China.
Right.
A lot of business in China.
Yes.
And you're still doing that to date.
Yes, I am.
And China is a bigger economy.
Right.
Bigger revenue.
Right.
But yes, you chose the Isle of Man.
Right.
So, because of the peace of mind?
So, I've done China for more than 2 decades. And yes, China does have opportunities. I get inspired from every trip I make to China. You have different opportunities, like you say, we can replicate this in, back home and stuff like that. But again, you want to be in a location, a geographical location where you have access, right, to not just capital, is you have access to business opportunities. You have an environment where they want you to thrive if you know what you're doing. So that's basically it. Well, I don't know where somewhere better for now, but I think here is good enough for me.
Yeah. So I'm also interested in knowing about the support you have received so far from the government. As an innovator visa, one of the greatest support we talk about, and of course, which you mentioned, that is the fact that you go through an incubating process,
right,
where somebody help you,
right,
to meet up with your regulatory compliance and
right,
all that. And how will you compare this with those countries which you have been to before? Or how will you compare that experience with any other experience that you are aware of, where you get to meet human beings, get to talk to human beings, you get to relate with them? So I remember when I had an issue regarding my tax,
right,
maybe there was some information that was not correct, and I sent them an email. I went there and they said, okay, come in so day, and I went.
right,
In fact, I couldn't make it that day. They sent me an email and they also tried to call me. I know that when I did my tax return, my annual return, to some issue was raised that I need to clarify it, and invited me to come over. I went there and they sorted this. Everything was sorted out, and it excites me to know that the fact that you could meet with real human beings to help you solve your issues, and you're not dealing with somebody on the phone,
the other end of the phone.
and somebody send you an email,
Right.
and they may choose not to even reply to your email.
Correct.
How will you rate this kind of services?
So I think I would say my personal experience with my case officer, for example, coming from where our environment, there's a trust deficit with public officials, right? So I wasn't actually trusting my case officer, and he asked me to do some things, and I was suspicious of whatever he's asking me to do. Then he said to me one day, he said, Timi, why are you doing this? And I said, well, I'll be frank with you. There is maybe it's because of where I'm coming from. I've been traumatized, but I'm having some trust deficit with you, but maybe I could just change my mind. And he said, look, if you do what I've asked you to do, if you give me all the documents I've asked you to provide, I'm guaranteeing you will get your release letter. That's your endorsement for the ILR. And I chose that. Secondly, my experience with him has been quite like mutual respect between both of us. He's never tried to maybe assert his authority over me, like, boss me and stuff like that. So it was a good engagement with him. Going to also the tax office, which we have to interface with all the time. You know what taxes are in Nigeria, where there's a compulsion to pay bridge. If you're not even maybe paying your taxes, they're going to seal up your offices and all of those things. But it's not like that here. They make you understand why you have to comply,
the consequences,
yes,
and all
the
that.
consequences for not complying.
And they give you rights to respond.
Exactly. You can appeal decisions, okay, for example, I think there was a time I was supposed to make some filing my returns. I didn't do that, and I got a penalty, and I realized I'd made a mistake, and I, wrote them back and said, look, I think a mistake has been made here, and they said, oh, well, if you haven't, registered something, you can write to us and we'll change it back for you. And I did that, and they did that for me. I'm like, oh, really? This is interesting. So I think here it's about making you want to do right. So it's about appealing to your conscience, to want to do right. And I see no reason why you don't want to do the right thing, why you wouldn't do the wrong thing. So
yeah. So on a final note, unpacking the Isle of Man, what's your take on it?
Well, unpacking the Isle of Man is real people facing real experiences and telling their real stories. You know, it's not about somebody trying to sell something to you. It's about we telling you what we've been through.
Not the propaganda, not
exactly.
the curated story.
Nothing at all. It's real people telling you real experiences. Like I've just told you about my experiences and everything. It's real. So I think it projects the island in a better perspective for people to see exactly what they're coming into, you know, and have their perspectives or mindsets, you know, tuned in the right frequency. That's what I'll say about Unpacking the Isle of Man.
Thank you, Mr. Olurotimi. Olurotimi is a very good friend of mine, and will be here for quite some time now.
Right.
And he has always been very, very supportive. He's an innovator visa here on the Isle of Man, and somebody who passionately believes in what we do here in the Isle of Man. He's also somebody who believes that this island possesses the qualities that are irresistible and yet hard to find. Won't you rather live in the Isle of Man? Thank you very much.
My great pleasure.
Hope to see you some other time.
Thank you, Victor.
I appreciate you.
My pleasure.